Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Curtis Campbell. I'm the head of marketing for Office Pro Inc. I'm super excited to have you here on this, what appears to be a nice sunny Friday morning, joined here by a number of experts. First and foremost, Lance Lingerfelt. He's going to be training us today on all things Microsoft Loop, walking through an entire demo of it. It's actually a pretty cool tool that we wanted to share with you at obviously no cost and remind you about the vast library of training courses that is available out there in the marketplace. If you see on my screen right here, you'll see one of those training courses and modules. As you'll see on this on my screen here, you'll see that one of our biggest areas of expertise is the MCP course manuals. These are here for your use at any time. This is that Microsoft Certified Professionals courses. There's dozens of courses in here where you can go and actually download the course manuals, as well as take any kind of associated questions and then add a badge completion link to your Microsoft profile. So lots of great content out there. We'll obviously share this recording with you after. Super excited again to have you here. So without further ado, Lance, it's all you.
Thank you. Thank you, Curtis. How's everybody doing this morning? My name is Lance Lingerfelt. Let me share my screen here. Yes, today we're going to talk about Microsoft Loop. I recently presented this in Orlando last year at CollabCon, and there have been some improvements done to it. So I kind of wanted to present it again and give an opportunity to demo it for you, so that we could all see some of the new things that are in there and new abilities that are available to us. So and without any further ado, we'll get started. If you have any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat, or just I can see most everybody here, so just speak up, and I'll be happy to answer your questions while we go along. All right. Yep. Yeah, this is Microsoft Loop. Our agenda today, we're going to talk about the power of Microsoft Loop, what it is, how to get started with it in your organization, some of the collaboration features available to it, use cases, and security, privacy settings, and also the roadmap for it is going to continue evolving here, and then a Q&A for it, and a little demo for it. All right. Again, my name is Lance Lingerfelt. I am a 20 years IT experienced MCT and also MCP. I recently got nominated for the MVP, and I'm hoping to get that here soon. I have worked for Microsoft in different capacities over the years. I do Exchange mainly, Office 365, Exchange Online, Intra, Teams, pretty much migrations. I do a lot of migrations and whatnot. So I do a lot of training on Teams and Outlook. I got a lot of PowerShell experience from managing big Exchange environments. And I do a lot of community events. You see the picture here for the cruise. Dan was on that cruise as well. So we got a couple people here from the past, and I'm an avid car enthusiast. I like to have work on my cars and whatnot, and then have my own company, and I play saxophone. That's a little bit about me. And right here, I'm going to play a video about Loop, and you can see what is Loop. But you cut off on me. I had it set there now.
Yep.
All right.
Say goodbye to the frustration of jumping between apps and losing track of documents and ideas. Microsoft Loop transforms the way you work, so you can think, plan, and create together like never before. Loop is made up of workspaces, pages, and components. Let's break it down. Create together with shared workspaces for each of your projects. On the Loop homepage, you can access all your existing workspaces and create new ones. In a Loop workspace, you can bring everything you need for your project together in one place. To kick off a workspace, Loop can even do the searching for you, making it easy to add existing project-related information and organize it into pages. Continue adding to your workspace as your project evolves and organize it the way you want. Loop pages are flexible canvases where you can react, comment, and build on each other's ideas. Notifications help you track the things you care about and focus on what matters, all while staying in the flow of your work. Copilot in Loop helps you ideate and co-create. Get inspired with AI-powered contextual suggestions to transform the way you create together. Don't let app barriers slow your project down. Easily share information with people outside your workspace with Loop Components. Components are portable pieces of content that stay in sync across all the places they have been shared, no matter where they are updated. You can share components and create new ones, like lists, tables, paragraphs, and more, across your favorite Microsoft 365 apps. You're always in control because it's easy to see where components were shared and who has access. However you work, wherever you work, Loop enables teams to think, plan, and create together like never before.
All right, so great. Loop does a great job of that. And a little bit later, I'm going to show a demo for everyone on that. So anyway, I like to use Loop in a lot of different capacities. I use it with different clients. It seems to be a growing thing. They did change the licensing on it that I know of, and that's something that you'll have to make sure you have properly for it. So again, real-time collaboration across teams and departments is the power of Loop. You can integrate it with all your apps, Word, Outlook, Teams, etc. Centralized workspace for files, tasks, planner, conversations, coding, all sorts of great features that are in the power of Loop. So to get started with MS Loop, we like to setting it up. There's a couple articles that you can get and do if you want to do a test group. Now, by default, let me share this screen over here. I'll show you guys. Let's see if we let me drag it over here. See if I can drag this screen over here. Okay, so basically in the admin center, you can go and you can go to your settings and then go to org settings and then go down to Microsoft Loop, and you can allow workspaces and a Loop app and turn on Loop app for different groups. You can go through here and set that up. You basically use a cloud policy. This link right here will show you how to do it. You basically set a group if you want to test it out first, or you can set it for all users. And basically the settings in that will show you what features you can add to the actual thing. So I got these links here. I'll be happy to share those with you if we need to. You basically create the group, go in and create the cloud policy configuration from that link that's in the org settings, and you can test it out with some users. And then you can push it out to everybody. You can change that policy to include everyone, which is a pretty new. All right, so we're going to use another video I want to show you guys. I'm going to do the basics of Loop and how it works.
Hey there, and welcome to Microsoft Loop. Here, you'll learn some of the basics and get a few tips to help you get going quickly. Let's get started. Workspaces are where you and your team group all important project elements together and keep track of your progress. You can see your recent workspaces here, or click here to get a bird's eye view of them all. Workspaces can be created for any type of project. Inside your workspace, you and your team can use Pages to organize everything. Pages can be anything you want, including a document, a web link, or just a blank slate. With Loop, you can bring everything together in one place no matter where it lives. Let's create a brand new page. Simply click on the purple plus button and select New Page. To start adding content to your page, remember these two things. Typing the slash symbol creates a new piece of content, and typing the @ symbol helps you find and add existing content. We also provide templates here at the bottom of your page in case you need some ideas. Let's open up the slash menu. Here you'll see a list of content types, including new and future capabilities such as AI. Let's add a voting table to get some feedback from the team. Now let's get some help filling this out. We can convert this to a component and send it to the team. They can view and edit it whenever and from wherever they are. It's that simple. It looks like everyone is excited about all the ideas. Now that you have the basics, Invite some of your team and go think, plan, and create together.
Okay. Power Loop is great. I mean, you can just use it everywhere. It links with everything. Like I said, Outlook, Teams, Planner, actually Word, you can put it in Word. So if you have a report, you have a paragraph, and you need to have somebody update, you can make a loop component, have multiple people edit it without having to open the file. They can open the loop component, edit it there, and it'll open Word, it'll save it in Word. And or if you have like a chart that you're using that you're updating, it's basically live data. Now, where this data is saved is if you do a loop component in Teams, it's going to save it in the Teams SharePoint. It's going to save it in your OneDrive. If you do it yourself in Loop, it basically saves it in your OneDrive spaces, and you have access to it. I think they are going to change it to make it all use SharePoint from now on, so that when people leave, you don't have issues. I always tell people, just create a team. If there's something where you're going to have multiple people in and out, do it in the team. It'll save it in the team SharePoint site. So it'll be under one of the folders of the document library. So your loop components will be there. That way, it won't be under somebody's OneDrive, and you can migrate it. You can share it, and it stays there even if someone leaves. So if you have your owners of your team, they can modify the loop components, and you can basically set the sharing on the loop components as well to make it work properly. And then basically what you can do, like I said, you can share it and invite your team to join the workspace. The workspace is probably one of the best places to do it. But people like to use Teams a lot, and people like to use Outlook or other tools in the Microsoft stack. And in order to try to get everybody to adopt this product, makes having that ease and that portability and compatibility with all the applications helps. As long as you have someone that can organize it well. I usually say, again, use Teams, create a channel for your project, or create a workspace for everyone to use. One of those two things, that will keep it all centralized and keep it where you all can see what's going on and keep working. All right. Collaboration features, basically, you have shared workspace, like I said. I was trying to show how to do it with the teams and the tasks. Basically, you have your workspaces, you create your loop components, and then you go to share those loop components with other people in different capacities. That is what you can do. There's so much work you can do. I suggest you download the loop and just kind of play with it, get in the workspace. Play with the workspace first, get used to the workspace. Then from there, you can go and actually let me actually go and screen stop sharing. Then you can actually go from there, and you can start using loop components. Again, here's another example of some of the loop components in here, like I was saying, with your 365 apps. You can use them in different spaces. There's loop components that are saved in your OneDrive or in your Teams channel or your Teams channel SharePoint. Now that they've gotten that's one of the updates that they've done. As only recently done, you cannot use loop components in Teams channels because it would automatically link back to your OneDrive. Although there was a workaround. What we used to do is, I would say, copy the link to the loop component from the OneDrive, then go to your team, and you would actually add a tab, and then you could put your loop component in a tab, and they could get to the tab just like you do other apps. But that's no longer needed because now you can have loop components in channels. And they're always saved as .loop files. So if you want to do searching in your OneDrive and whatnot, you can do it through your loop files. All right, here's one of the use cases that we have. I'm going to let you watch this video of Accenture, how they use Loop to do their brainstorming sessions. Here we go.
Hours.
Accenture is a global professional services company. We provide services in digital, cloud, and security, and we serve clients in over 40 industries and 120 countries.
At Accenture, our core values are client value creation, one global network, respect for the individual, best people, integrity, and stewardship.
As leaders, we're managing a lot of people and a lot of information.
My workforce is a global workforce. We have folks in UK, we have folks in India, we have folks scattered here across the US. And my job is to make sure Accenture is always on the cutting edge. Before, it was less efficient. We would create documents, and we would upload them on a team site, and then you'd have to share the link with everybody. And then moving forward, you'd have to go find the link again. With Microsoft Loop components, you have the opportunity to collaborate and then have that available for folks later. It's just a super simple, cool little tool that's just readily available. You can access the Loop just right in your Teams chat or meeting. You just go right into the team itself, create your table, your bulleted checklist, and everybody can access it right on the spot.
The Loop component has allowed me to be a lot more productive because I can capture information real time. I can have my team contribute to it. I don't have to go to another destination in order to do that. And it's just very simple. A Loop component is more dynamic and flexible. And so I think that's a big difference.
In my work, where we are located in different time zones, the common working window is really small. The Loop allows us to collaborate as though we would be in the same physical space. The Loop component is very transparent. All the key stakeholders and all the participants of that review call are aware of what's coming up.
What Loop components can do is provide you the ability to capture information in the context of a meeting real time and the ability to collaborate on that information with other participants in the meeting.
It's super slick for meeting agendas, deployment planning.
If you want to have a meeting review agenda, possible. If you want to track the status of the project, it's possible. It's all available in one place.
The Loop component helped me achieve my personal goals and my team's goals.
The value with Loop is the increase in productivity just helps us run our company more efficiently and serve our clients better.
All right. Anyway, thank you again. We're going to go to security and privacy here. Again, Accenture, in that previous video, Accenture is used to get to collaborate with their teams overseas. It's a great tool. Again, I've done that. I've actually worked for Avanade in the past in Accenture. So I did get to use that tool. It wasn't out when I worked there. And if it was, I'm pretty sure we'd had used it quite heavily as they do now, because their organization is very large and they manage quite a number of large worldwide organizations. And it would have been great to have been able to set up a ticket that was maybe a trouble case that we were working on and be able to collaborate with someone in India, per se, where the time zones are different when we were changing shifts. We used to have to do it through email. Sometimes there was some delay, or there would be questions that need to be answered, and the ability to have Loop where you can do it in real time and multiple people can see it. That question get answered a lot more quickly than with email or maybe with another method that was being used at the time. But again, it's a good example that for the use case of Loop. So, again, we're going to, Microsoft is with all their products, they're committed to data security, doing encrypted communications with these components and whatnot. They do fall under all the purview of security features that are available to other files that are available on OneDrive. So please talk with your compliance data governance people to make sure that they are secured when you create your Loop components. You can use DLP on Teams and it will cover Loop components. You can use DLP in email. It will cover it on Loop components as well, to make sure your data doesn't get lost or gets any PI, PHI, any type of data that could be leaked out is not leaked out. And so you can get more information on that with the privacy policy. There is a couple of links here. I'll be happy to share the PowerPoint as well when I post the video to allow you all to get to the links for how Microsoft does use workspaces and storage those and make it so you can use them with labeling as well as with DLP and compliance policies. So you could actually go to those settings, and there's a link here to Microsoft Learn that allows you to look at that, how to set those up, and it should be updated. So lots of people are worried about that. That's why some of these apps are not being adopted as quickly as possible. But again, that's not a problem. Microsoft has kept up with that and have made it so you can do that. So if there are good questions, I'll keep going on here. All right, the future developments, the roadmap. I want to show that if I could here. Yeah. Got a roadmap for our loops. A lot of the stuff here, you can go to this website and pull that up. And send that out to see when a lot of new things are coming out. Again, they just did a lot of rollouts on a lot of products recently. The next big rollouts are probably going to be June, May and June. And again, they got Copilot and OneDrive for Copilot. You can also do some new things coming out. Use loop components in OneNote. That wasn't possible before. It's kind of, people kind of thought it was probably going to be a double, because the loop is kind of considered the new OneNote in a sense. But people still have a lot of data in OneNote, and maybe they want to transfer it to a loop component from their OneNote so that they can have it in their workspaces now. So the loop components can be, you can have your OneDrive. Let's say you have an onboarding process that you have is constantly updating and changing. You used to use a OneNote to kind of provide people access to links and things they need to read, trainings they need to go to, things like that. So rather than worry about that OneNote being changed or updated improperly, or people not having access to it, you could create a team channel, put the loop component within that team's channel with the OneNote data, and then go into your OneNote, update your OneNote as you've always done, and it will automatically update the team's channel on the site, and then you can grant them read-only access to look at that loop component. And then from there, they can click the links on what they need to. They just can't make changes. And they can be assigned to that team's channel, and therefore you have total control over the content that's in your OneNote and that is shown to the users. And this can be done in Word as well. Again, loop components are interchangeable in different spots. But that's some of the examples that I like to show to see where you know, kind of different use cases that you can have for the product. Does anybody have any idea about anything else they want to say that might be used for loop components?
We're in the process, our company's in the process of adopting SharePoint. So we're migrating from, you know, trees and stuff like that to search centric. We're trying to eliminate the scavenger hunt. And, and that's where I'm seeing this loop is maybe a tool to bring some of those components to a common location so we don't have to go look for them. Is that? That kind of, this is a new concept that, and we already adopted teams. We're looking at some planner, we're looking at some other things, and it feels like another platform we got to
the nice
keep track
thing
of.
Well, the nice thing is that you don't have to use the loop workspace if you don't want to. You can just use the loop components and keep it in teams. If you got everybody using teams, then when they have their channels that they do their projects in, you can go and add a loop component in the channel. So they can do all those lists, programming, all that stuff in the Teams channel itself and keep it there. You keep there, and then you can share it if they need to share it to Outlook, if they need to share it somewhere else. Or they can do some cross collaboration and provide links to the loop component, but it doesn't have to give them access to the team, because you can just take the loop component itself, say, okay, this person has, and so they can have limited access that way. You keep everything in your team, just like with the OneNote. You can keep the data that you're using to the people that need to be able to change it, and then people can read it and access it, but they don't need full access. So you can still collaborate. And if you're having a project where you got multiple teams collaboration, a workspace might be good. As you know, your users can, if they're all the same org, your users can create a workspace and say, okay, I want this team and I want this team to have access to this, and we'll all do everything here. And then it'll share it, it'll save it its own backend SharePoint site, which you can manage that way. You know, if you want to kind of, you know, I know people are starting to worry about the AI a little bit with some of the governance around that, being able to use Copilot and whatnot. You know, I know you said you're adopting SharePoint. Have you looked into restricted SharePoint as far as, you know, using the restricted SharePoint tools to make sure that people can't just search across all SharePoint sites?
That's the first time I've heard that term,
Yeah.
but I think we're just using different libraries to prevent that.
Okay, yeah, you can do it that way. There's a, you know, restricted SharePoint kind of centralizes it for you. It might be something you want to look into. It's a way to say, no account can just blanket do a search, or a Copilot can't go with a service account in the back and pull data for somebody. You can lock it down and say, this, these apps, you have to have this particular access to be able to, index and search the farm, the SharePoint farm. So, that's that's what you need. So, Loop's kind of a good way to get around that. Again, like I said, they are expanding the functionality of Loop every month. Seems like the ability to put the planner tasks or the task table into buckets, it makes it work just like Planner. So people don't need to actually use Planner. If they want to link it to it, they can. Again, it's kind of like OneNote was. You can kind of pull in a Word document, you can pull in everything. You can do the same with Loop Workspace. So, just have to look at the scenario, and is it kind of a local team thing? Maybe use Teams to do that. Is it a cross collaboration with a bunch of teams that you just want to kind of everybody have a workspace, not necessarily need. You don't want to have to manage it for them, and if they don't use Teams very well, they can maybe use a workspace. It might be a way to get people kind of interested in using the workspace and Loop components, and then say, why don't you go to Teams? We can do a little more governance on it, but you can still. It just depends. It's like tomato at this point, and that's the beauty of the Microsoft 365 apps. So. But any future developments that are coming out are going to be on this website, the roadmap. I'm glad they're finally coming out for Loop components in GCC. I have some GCC clients that I have to worry about, and it's good that they've gotten the compliance to where if it's good for government cloud, sovereign cloud, then definitely it's gotten to the point where it can be locked down, just like all the other apps. So, because they usually wait about a year, 6 months to a year before implementing anything into any government sovereign cloud. So,
right.
So yeah, again, good thing. Yeah. You just got to remember SharePoint is kind of your background for all of this. It's kind of like Exchange used to be in the older days when everybody had the contacts and all their, stuff. And then, on top of that, the way this is all able to work together with SharePoint is through the Microsoft Substrate, which is just kind of the way Microsoft does the platform to connect all the tools and allows you to set the settings and put the settings across all the applications. So if you say label a particular Loop component to be confidential, it'll label it wherever you put the Loop component. You'll label it the same, because it just basically links it back to a file that's on SharePoint.
Yeah.
So
we just recently went from GoDaddy to direct to Microsoft with our Exchange, and that opened up the whole suite. And now it's overwhelming because there's so many components of it, and trying to figure out how they all work together it's really overwhelming.
Yeah,
you put something in there and
be.
it shows up somewhere else, and you don't know how it got there, and you go, wait.
Yeah, it's it's kind of a blessing and a curse. It kind of, but again, just remember with pretty much everything except messaging is going to be SharePoint based. All your files, OneDrive is SharePoint. It's just personal SharePoint sites. And all your team stuff, your chats and everything, they're saved in SharePoint now versus used to be in Exchange. Exchange is more for just messaging now and collaboration in that sense. But the new Outlook, you can actually manage your M365 groups, which are the backbone of being able to collaborate across the apps. You used to have your distribution groups before. I have another presentation that I had done a couple weeks ago about how to manage those M365 groups in the new Outlook client or Outlook web app. You used to have a lot more power kind of a part of the adoption process. You kind of have to try to feed it to them in a way that they're going to like. You get a lot of feedback from them. And it depends on the size of your company. If you got a small company, you might have a couple of people that just kind of want the same way. But if you got a big organization, there are probably people that want to do things all sorts of different ways, and or they're used to a certain way. And the way to get them to change is kind of spoon feed it to them. Say, this is kind of the way you used to do it. But here's how we're going to. I mean, that's how I had to do with distribution groups with a big company, about 12,000 users. Everybody kept, emailing us, so we need a distribution group, Well, I said, look, I created you an M365 group. Let me tell you why. Here's what you can do with that. And then I showed them how to use the Outlook to manage the group, and they ended up figuring out they had a mailbox with it, and they had a calendar with it, and they had access to SharePoint files, SharePoint repository itself for the M365 group. And then they could use Loop, they could use Planner, they could use OneNote with it, and all link it all together in one spot in Outlook and manage their entire team. And it just blew their minds in a good way. But again, you just got to find the right approach that's going to work for your users. And that's usually the best way to go about it. So, but anyway, all right, we're at the end here. Again, Loop is a great tool. We've had some good discussions on it. And like I said, I'll have this PowerPoint available to you guys as well with the video. Let you guys have it. So anyway, is there any questions? Any other questions for anybody? All right. Well, thank you again. There's my email. You can get to my websites. LDLnet.net. If you have questions, I got a blog as well that you can get to, and got some good information about a lot of different subjects on there. I'll have a copy of this video as well as a copy of the PowerPoint up on the blog that you can go and see. So. So basically, what you can do from here is I got my client here that I'm using that I have. Trying to download Teams. Of course, it's not working for me, but let me get all this set up here. You can go to Loop from. Come on now. You can go to Loop by typing in loop.microsoft.com and then logging in, and this will open up Loop for you. You have your welcome page and whatnot that you have. But you can go and you can look at your activity. Basically, you can go to here and link with your recents. I created a loop for my workspace in my team workspace. So basically, I created like a task list. And like you said in the video, you could go and create new things. So basically, this is like Planner. And it actually can connect to Planner if you want it to, which is pretty neat. We'll show you how to create a loop component here in a minute. And
is this different than Planner?
No, it kind of is because the components are kind of outside of Planner itself. and don't require a planner in order to be used. It allows you to do these tasks, but if you wanted to link to planner, you can do that. You can put the loop component in a planner setting, and it will allow you to connect and do that. So, in my experience, if we're just doing simple, simple tasks like daily stuff or weekly stuff that you have for team members, that won't require, the email updates, won't require all the extra stuff you get with Planner. You can use the Loop. But like when we have our weekly meetings in one of my companies, we just kind of do our sync and go through these task lists. And then if we need to actually do specific due dates with tasks that require updates and we look at the planner, or we create a separate planner if we need to for the particular project. This kind of gives you another way, because some groups like they don't like the actual planner interface. So this kind of gives you a different way. And so, but again, you can add a task here. So like my new task. And then you can assign it to whomever, and then select the date, just like in Planner, and then put in a to-do bucket, and it'll go. You can change your buckets if you want to add. If you want to add buckets, you can add buckets. So it works just like Planner. It's just kind of, and I think that actually Microsoft is going to. They just updated a lot of the Planner features, so I think they started to link this more. The power of the Loop component is that you can put it in different apps. So if you got people that don't want to use the Loop app, or they don't want to do it, and you can get the Loop app from the Microsoft Store. So basically, I download it from the store, and I got the application, which is the same thing, just like the web page, and it shows the same thing. So you can go to, you go to your Loop, and then there you go. You get your workspaces. That test computer's a little slow. I have to apologize for that. But you can click on your workspaces and create workspaces for different things, and it'll pull it up. So if I wanted to add something to it, new page. Add page. It is page. Then you click here, like you said, you type /, and it'll pull up a list of things you can do. You can do things from table, a checklist, bulleted list, call out for people. You can actually do code, which is really cool. If I am working with a team, let's say we're doing some PowerShell scripting or something like that, we can actually we can actually tell it to go into a particular type of scripting over here. So I can tell it to be PowerShell, and then I can actually start doing my code. User, right? And then they can go, and then you can share this out with people in the company, and they can come in here and they can edit the code if they find a problem with it, and they could put notes and add. They can just go down here and start typing something. Let's say I want to add a divider to it, and then I want to add some headings, paragraphs, a quote, inline code, and you can do all sorts of things. A task list, you can do voting. Should we change this code if I want to do things like that? A Kanban board, so you can actually make it link to your Kanban task if you're actually coding stuff. It's really, really neat what you can do. They're really, really making it a lot more integrated with doing tasks and planning, because that's what people ask for. And Loop, the great thing about Loop is that you can share it as a Loop component. So I can go in here and create a Loop component, and then go here. I can I should be able to share this. Yeah, we went back to this. It created a new Loop component, but this I could go in here and share it. Share the Loop component. I can also go in there. I'm going to show this in a second. link created. So you basically do the settings. You can set it just like you do in SharePoint with your files and with your groups. So you can set the settings to who can have access to it, and then give the link, and then you can go to Outlook and say email. Again, I apologize. This computer's a little bit slow. I can see out here. You have a couple options. You can actually do loop component from here. So then I can insert the link. And then see it'll do the actual loop component. So it'll actually put it in the Outlook email. So if you got a boss, your boss is not part of your group, but you want to give your boss an update of what's going on or what you're working on, or if you need to send a thing of the code, then you can send them an email, and then they can have access to it and make changes here. So if I add something here, then I can go back to a loop, and it should be updated there as well. And here it is. It's updated here as well. So, and if you got multiple people editing, it will show that as well. So, I could update it here. All right. And you go back to Outlook. Go back to email. And it updated. So basically, if you want your boss to see what is updated, you don't have to keep sending them emails all the time. You can actually just say, just keep checking that email. Next week on the office hours, we're going to have a couple guests. We have Paul as well as Teresa. They are both trainers that specialize in the Outlook realm. So we're going to have them present us some features of the older version of Outlook, as well as the newest version of Outlook, which is a little different in the Outlook web app. Both of them are very good at it gives tips and tricks, and then I'll probably show some Exchange Online things, that tips and tricks you can do to help your users work a little better, and hopefully that'll be what we have for next week. So.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, great. Thanks again.